Hello?
We need to talk.
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 Welcome back to We Need to Talk, episode number 100. 100. I'm host Mr. KOA alongside
Starboy.
We've been knocking this bitch out for a Benji.
100 episodes.
Of Benji. It took us a while. We definitely should have been at 100 a long time ago. But, you know, as we've talked about many times, we both have lives that we try and fit this in between, but it's still a crazy accomplishment nonetheless. With all that we've done,
Yeah.
I think 100 episodes is pretty dope. And it's 100 good episodes.
We would have been.
I think that's what's important.
We would have been at 100 ages ago because technically the TV show.
And we had TV shows
The
in
TV
between.
show were separate.
Right.
They were separate. So
Then the actual audio
yeah.
episodes.
So if we counted those,
You're right.
we would have been already way over it
So
already.
100 audio podcast episodes we have done. We've done more than 100 podcasts
Yeah.
in general, but 100 episodes audio since inception in 2017.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. We knocked out 2 Zoom live shows called Kinda Live. Both successes, both different vibe. One was on the Friday 2 weeks ago, and one was on the Saturday last week. And it was dope. It was really it was really dope. And I think a lot of feedback we got, at least the feedback I've gotten so far, is that we should probably do more of these. So Zamora and I both agreed that we should, and I think we can make it kind of a monthly end of month wrap up event.
Yeah.
So we're thinking of doing these the last Friday of every month. So the next last Friday would be April 30th. And just honestly, like without it having to be too structured, I think it could even be like we've said many times, this podcast is a mental health and what's the word? What's the word?
Like a release?
Yeah. There's another word that you know I'm talking about. We come here for what? It's
I don't know.
What do we use this podcast for? As a
outlet?
Nah, yeah, it is that, but that's not the word. There's a fuck. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Anyways, we come here as a means of our mental health and allowing us to open up and be ourselves and reflect over the years has been incredible. So, you know, having to do that, or having the opportunity to do that with you guys every month at the end and live with you guys, like you guys can pull up and just kick it with how your month has been, how shit's been going on, whatever's been happening in the month, and also allows you guys as listeners to talk to us about any podcast episodes we've done that month. I think that's also could be a cool
gives them an
element
opportunity to chime in.
like, oh yeah, I remember like episode 103 when you guys talked about this, blah blah. Like you can chime in now, because I know a lot of people say like they're listening to our podcast yelling at the fucking
they always
yelling at their fucking phone. Like, they want to say something. Now they can.
Now we're giving you the opportunity to say something if you want to do that.
So yeah, that's a plan we want to move forward with, and I think it'll be very beneficial for everybody. What were your thoughts about the first 2 shows?
I thought they were great. You know, common word for the last year is pivot. Like everyone has to pivot and figure out new ways to do stuff. It would have been really nice to do a live show, you know, like an actual in-person live show. But I'm happy that, you know, we pivoted towards doing a Zoom show, and 2 of them, and people still showed up, and it was fun. It was fun, man. Like we got kind of lit.
Definitely fun.
Yeah, we got lit. I definitely got drunk.
It's an excuse to drink as well.
Yeah, I definitely got drunk on the first show. Because
I don't drink like day to day like normally anyways.
Yeah.
So I think it was fun to even have like today is a drinking day. Like
I've wine often, but like not to try and get fucked up. You know, like I knew when I was on the show, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna drink to
just have fun.
Up.
Yeah. Okay. You said you wanted to talk about something specifically.
Yeah. So in one of my group chats, someone had asked a question that was really interesting.
Man has his hat low. What are you hiding from?
Nothing. It's just the way the hat is. Your
man's hiding from.
I'm not hiding from
man's on the run.
So
Sassy.
The question is it self-sabotage or disinterest? And then I said, explain. And then she said,
is what?
No, let me explain.
Oh, that's the question?
That's the question. She said, is it self-sabotage or disinterest? Okay. I'm like, what do you mean? They said, someone who is self-sabotaging a relationship by fucking it up or running away because they're afraid of getting hurt / actually care. And that presents itself as the exact same behaviors of someone just naturally pulling away, uninterested, or they're ghosting someone. You get what I'm saying? So then she says, I feel like people hold on to that rhetoric when they shouldn't. Example, a woman thinking a man loves her, but is telling herself he's just afraid. And also maybe dismissing real connections because of fuckboy, fuckgirl tendencies of being emotionally unavailable.
So basically, are you essentially asking, are people calling disinterest self-sabotage these days?
Yeah.
Like basically you're saying like, oh, like I'm scared to get hurt, so I'm gonna pull back, but really you're just not interested in the person?
Yeah.
Like, just call it that. Just call it that.
Yeah.
Just say you're not interested. Don't say like, oh, I don't want to hurt you, so I'm pulling back. Just say I'm not.
See, because the way I looked at it, right? Like the question was, is it self-sabotage or disinterest?
Correct.
I don't think those things are mutually exclusive. Like,
sure,
you can absolutely
be interested and still pull.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can self-sabotage something because I'm disinterested in you. Like,
oh, do both. Double down.
You can do both.
You can double down
at the same time. Like, I know that I'm disinterested in you, but so I don't want to be the bad guy.
Right.
I don't want to be the bad guy. So I'll like purposely do shit to make it so that you make the decision that we don't. So I'm self-sabotaging,
but on purpose.
Well, that's the whole point.
To line up with your narrative that you already don't like the person.
Exactly. Right?
Versus, I actually do like you.
Yeah.
But I'm fucking this up for what then?
I'm fucking up because it could be past relationship traumas. Like, oh, I know I like this person, but because of previous relationships of me getting hurt, getting into them, I'm like somehow fucking it up for myself
to protect them
or protect me.
Sure,
right.
I agree with that because I that's what I was gonna say. I'm like, there's definitely been times where, well, I mean, I've never self-sabotaged something that I was interested in, but I definitely have been the recipient of girls I know that like me, but they're acting up, and I'm like, why are you doing this? They're like, I'm just scared. I'm like, yo, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this,
dude? How do you like? How do you?
You don't have to. I already like you. Like, we're good, and they're just doing shit. Like,
how do you navigate? I don't know. I honestly don't know how to navigate situations like that, because
when partners do that or people do that.
Yeah, because this is my thing, right? Imagine you're in a situation and where you know the progression could possibly lead to like a relationship, right? Or you don't even know if it's a relationship. It could just lead in that direction, but you're actively doing things to not let it go there.
Slow it down,
or not
prevent it entirely,
or just prevent it entirely.
Okay,
right? Is that a form of self-sabotage? Because you know, like,
of course,
you're
sabotaging any potential.
Yeah, like, you know,
in some way. I'm sure.
Deep down, you're like, I know this will work,
right? You know this will work to stop it from happening.
Right?
I know if I do this, it will not happen.
It will not happen. But then, what do you? I don't know.
Are you talking about as a recipient or as a doer?
Both. I think let's explore both sides of it, right? So let's say you're the recipient, right? A girl comes to you and says, like, you two have a situation going on where it clearly looks like you're going towards a relationship.
Okay.
You both vibe and it's like, oh, this makes sense.
Okay.
Remember, you're the recipient here.
Yes.
And the girl says to you, you know, she's either scared, she's open about this, she tells you.
Right.
How do you, like, what do you do as a recipient? I feel like the only thing you can do is just basically follow that person's lead.
So,
because if you press, like, I don't know what you do. I actually don't know what you do.
So, funny. I've been in that situation recently, which you know about.
Okay, yeah.
So, I can literally tell you what I actually did.
Yeah.
Right? So, the situation is two people like each other. You both know where this could be. No one's pressuring the other person.
Yeah.
But one party is, i.e., self-sabotaging in the sense where fear, nervousness, overthinking, the list goes on of things people do to drive themselves crazy. Conversations they're having with themselves that you're not involved in, but you're receiving their attitude or the result of these conversations they've had on their own. Right? So in that exact scenario, we both are aware of the elephant in the room that like we could be good together. This could be great.
Yeah.
Now, said person is, let's just say, self-sabotaging on their end, saying they're scared, saying they're nervous, saying they're not ready, so on. So all the buzzwords of self-sabotagers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, all these things. Yeah.
So literally the only play I have in that sense is, well, you don't add more pressure because
absolutely not.
No,
Yeah.
right? That just increases anxiety, increases the nervousness, increases the sabotage.
Yeah.
And now you start to sabotage yourself because you're putting more pressure on the person that's already, receding. My only play literally was to say, okay, I hear you. No problem. Kill it.
Yeah.
And like, it might sound harsh. It might sound like, oh, you're not even trying, but like, you can't try. Like, that's not something the recipient has any control over.
Yeah.
The only play you have is either you wait for an unknown
amount of time,
because you don't know if they can do this for a year.
Yeah.
you have no idea.
Yeah.
Or you take I won't even say the higher road because no one's immature, but you take the more difficult road and just kill it for the both of you. Yeah. Where it's like, even though that
road sucks.
It sucks.
That road is absolute trash.
Of course it sucks. Like,
it's actually the worst road. I'm not gonna, but it's the
only play.
Oh my God.
It's the only play. It's the only play for a rational mind. If you're rational and aware of what you bring to the table in any scenario, and you have things you want to get done, it's the only play because otherwise you're distracted. And that was the biggest thing that I noticed about myself is I'm like, the longer I stay in this realm with this person, I'm distracted. Like, not from everything. Like, from other girls, I'm distracted from my business. I'm
smoke.
I'm so consumed by this.
Oh my God.
Bro, I'm so consumed by this realm that I'm distracted. I'm up thinking about what the fuck they could be thinking about when we're talking. I'm trying to say certain things, so I'm like, I don't want to push them off the edge. Like, I'm just so utterly distracted that I'm like, this doesn't benefit anybody here. Like, it doesn't. So the only play was for me to kill it. And bro, it sucked. I was like, this sucks, but listen, for the betterment of both of us in the situation, to avoid it, we don't even have to do this at all. Trust me, I would love to pursue you and blah, 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 blah. But let's just not. And the thing is, that brings a sense of relief to both of you.
But in this particular case, though, when you killed it, it was like, you're not even talking to this person anymore.
Yes. Okay. Like, I'm full kill switch.
Yeah, full kill switch.
Because for me, it's like, how? Like you can't have it both ways. Like, it's just like you can't have it both ways.
Well, it's just because in that case, like in this particular case, it's not like you were friends first. No, that's not the dynamic that was had.
We weren't already buddies, and let's try this thing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and even in that sense, like, you might have to even kill that for a little. If you're already buddies, try this thing. It doesn't work. It's not gonna be like immediate back to buddies. Like, you might have to still kill it for a little bit, but it might not be full kill switch because you have a prior background with them. But if it's just two people of interest, liking each other, connecting, click, whatever, and it gets to this point, there's nothing to go back to.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like, I have to full kill switch because I'm like, if we're not doing this, what would we be doing? And for what? For what?
Yo, that's like, that's absolutely the worst case scenario.
Bro, it's
trash. But like,
I can be real, it sucks.
But dude, it's awful. It really is. But going back to the question, right?
Yeah.
Because there was one part of it that really stuck out to me when they said, someone who is self-sabotaging a relationship by fucking it up or running away because they're afraid of getting hurt or actually care, that type of behavior can present itself the exact same way as someone who's just naturally pulling away and uninterested. You know what I mean? Like that I think that part is really interesting. Like, sometimes someone who's self-sabotaging can look the exact same as someone who's just disinterested. And I mean, it's hard to tell the difference.
And you know what? I'll be more transparent again because I told you that part too.
Yeah.
That because it's so hard to distinguish and can be ambiguous.
Yeah.
You actually have to ask.
Dude,
which is what I did.
Dude, and you're right though. Like that's what makes you distracted.
You're just
because you can't actually tell, is the person like disinterested,
and you're constantly questioning,
or are they self-sabotage? I don't know.
And because you don't know, you're just gonna nonstop think about it, and it's detrimental. So like the other play in that situation is what I did was be like, because I can't tell, and like out of ego and pride, you're like, there's no way they don't like me. Like, it can't be that. So it must be they're scared. It must be they're just, not ready.
Even though it could be.
Of course
but,
it could
but
be.
you're not.
It always could be.
Ego's not making
Your ego just that. Like, I mean, it won't, it's not that they don't like me. It's probably just something they're going through. Well, you start convincing yourself other things. But I, as the person I am, I literally like clear cut lines and boundaries. And I'm like, I have no shame to ask somebody like, put it this way. Everyone needs to understand that like, you can fuck someone that doesn't want to be with you.
Yeah.
Like, does everyone get that? Like, like it's not just like we had sex, so we have to get there. Right. I think people really get caught up that like, if I can fuck her, if I can fuck him, I can get him. No, like, no, that's not, I know our minds go there. Like if we had sex that like that, most likely I probably can get them. Like, no, they can love having sex with you as many times as they want, but they're never going there with you. So for me, in literally my situation, it's like sex was great. We're fucking. We're doing all these things, like laughing, like doing all this cool shit that ego wise and pride wise, it's like, yeah, she definitely wants to be together, like for sure, like easy, like you know what I mean. Like you start thinking like I can fuck her, whatever. Like everything's great. Like she wants to go there, which I also did, right? But when you get in that situation where it's ambiguous, where it's like, are they acting this way because they don't actually want to go there? Or are they acting this way because they're scared? And now you like, do you just not want to go there? Because if you don't want to go, just say that. Just let me know. Because the thing is,
we've talked about how at any given moment, the woman can just put the guy out of his misery in this whole stage, like talking, dating, relationships. At any given moment, they can put you out of your misery by just letting you know where the fuck they're at.
Yes.
Right. So if it's a matter of,
and the longer they say I don't know, it just causes problems.
Yeah. Right. So I do believe that like self-sabotaging and being disinterested, they definitely do present themselves the same way.
Yes.
The problem is getting an answer from that. Like if it's hard, because if you're genuinely self-sabotaging and you're aware of it, it's hard to actually admit that.
Yes, I'm fucking this up.
It's easier to say I'm not even though it could be still hard, it's easier to say I'm not interested in this than it is to say, yo, I'm purposely like doing things, and it might be consciously or subconsciously that's like fucking it up. And then to explain why you're doing it is the next level.
See, harder. I don't think you need to explain why. And I think that's where closure comes into things, where people think they need closure. You don't need closure. I think the answer is enough. I think if someone can acknowledge like, yes, I'm sabotaging this. Yeah. I do like you, but I'm sabotaging this. Yeah. I don't need to be like, why are you doing that?
Okay, I'll be honest. A part of my brain.
You want to ask.
I want to know. Bro, like if they say I'm.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah. Yes, I want. Yeah. No, I want to know, but like you don't actually owe me that part.
Absolutely.
You don't. You can just be like, bro, I like you. I'm fucking this up. And you could be like, fuck, okay.
Okay, so here's the thing though. Like a girl says that to you. Says, hey, I'm fucking this up. Right? I'm doing things to self-sabotage this. At that point, like how the fuck? Like what is the best way to react, bro? Like I feel like the only thing you can do, which you touched on earlier, is to just hold that. Like all you can do is just hold it. Because if you try to go another route with it, you're basically putting that person in a position where they're not comfortable yet. Right. But then what do you do?
But the thing is, here's the thing. Here's the thing when it relates to my situation specifically. I would have preferred that person say that because I have a play for that. If the person says, yo, I actually really like you. I'm fucking this up right now. And don't know why, or I might know why, but all I know is I do like you. You don't deserve this, but I'm just fucking this up right now. I can sit with that and be like, you know what? This is a them thing to deal with. But I'm at peace knowing we like each other.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to happen right now anyway.
Yeah, of course.
Because, bro, I've seen things happen. There's people I haven't talked in years, 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah.
Things go by, we circle back and you're like, wow, like, I don't know how that happened, but timing's a hell of a thing, right?
Yeah.
So I'm a big believer on timing. So if the person can tell you like deeply and honestly, yes, I like you, just right now, I know I'm fucking this up for whatever reason. I can live with that and do what I gotta do in my life and know that, like, you know what? She'll come around whenever she's ready. And I'm in a rush with that. The difficult thing is when you don't have an actual answer, right? Where it's like, I'm not sure if I do like you. I'm not sure if I want. It's like only you have that answer. I don't know the answer. So you have to tell me something. Yeah. So like when it comes to the situation I was talking about ego, it's like, you never want to think or believe that like, it's not that she doesn't like me. Like, how can she not? Like, our sex is amazing, blah, blah, blah. But in my situation, I won't say she didn't like me, but it definitely threw me for a loop what she said. And I think that's the only time where you have to put the pressure on. And I think it's important to differentiate like when to put the pressure. There's at no point that I put the pressure on the person in terms of like, we should be in a relationship. I want to be your boyfriend. Like, you should be like, what are we? Like those aren't pressure situations. But when it comes to asking someone about how they feel, you're absolutely allowed to put pressure on that question. Yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
That has nothing to do with where it's going to be or what are we?
Just gauging the situation.
Just what do you feel right now? Yeah. Just like I'm allowed to ask you that and put pressure on that. You're not you do not get to say I don't know. Yeah. As adults, I actually refuse to allow someone to say I don't know.
Yeah, you should just be
as
like
an adult.
I don't like. No, I'm not about this. I like this,
and that's it. Yeah, that's the only time I'll put pressure on when it comes to a very direct question about your feelings, not us, not me, not nothing else external, just your feelings. And the person said like, you know, this is great, blah blah. I can definitely see you as a potential partner, yada yada yada. But right now, I feel like we should just stay as friends. And I was like, we were never friends. Yeah. You were never friends to begin with. So how do we've been fucking doing all this stuff. How do we stay as friends if we were never friends? Or like, well, we have like a friendship. I'm like, that's different. You should have a friendship with someone you're interested in for sure. Yeah. But I wouldn't consider us friends. At least I wouldn't. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like that's where you have to really clearly gauge
what's going on.
What's going on?
It for you
right.
Too,
so I'm like, okay. Took myself back. I'm like, okay, cool. Let me ask you this then. Do you think you can be friends with someone you're fucking? I asked her. And she's like, well, yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. I can't. Yeah. So like, this is like, I started to like literally clarify boundaries of what we believe of each other, because that's, if you believe something and you think someone else believes the same thing, you're going to put your own perspectives on them. Yeah. Right. So I was like, I need to get very clear guidelines of how we're viewing whatever the fuck this is. Right. And I'm like, okay, so I am not friends with people I'm fucking. They're either people I'm fucking or someone I'm pursuing. Yeah. But I'm not friends with them. Yeah. And she's like, oh, well, I can be. I was like, cool, I can't. So now there's one...
There's a barrier
issue,
right there.
Right?
Yeah, there's an issue
cool,
right there.
Got it. I had some clarity. Got it. Cool. Next, I'm like, then she goes, why can't we be friends? Like, what do you mean? Why can't we be friends? Like, we still get along with each other. I'm like, no, you can definitely have friendship qualities with someone, but it'll never be a platonic relationship. Yeah,
because it depends how it all started. Like, I think that's pretty straightforward.
For sure.
I think over time, you can become friends with that person
platonically.
Yeah, platonically. Sure. I think that can absolutely happen. But if I just met you and our whole relationship was based off of like
intimacy and sex,
and like that sort of attraction, right? And then we say, let's just be friends. You can't expect me to just try and make that work out platonically
ASAP.
ASAP. Like, you're gonna have to give me whatever amount of time,
and that's if you want to.
Yeah,
I
true.
didn't want to.
That's true.
So that was another thing. I'm like, so quick question. Cause like, and at this point I started to like see, back to your question, is this self-sabotage or disinterest?
Yeah.
And the more I was asking questions, I'm just like, she might just be disinterested. And maybe not in me, but in this. Right? And I guess they're one and the same if you think about it.
I don't think they're mutually exclusive. Right? I said that earlier.
No, I mean, I think being disinterested in the situation and being disinterested in me is one and the same, even though like, sure, someone can still be interested in you, but not interested in the situation. Like, I took it as one and the same because I come with this situation, right? So there's no pride to me. I'm like, oh, she doesn't like me. Like, maybe just not like that, whatever. But her proposal was like, I can see myself with you in the future. Definitely. Think you'd be amazing father, blah, 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 blah. Yada, partner, everything. As of right now, I think it's best if we are just platonic friends and also stop having sex.
Yeah.
I go, first of all, I was like, hold on, what? Like, because I'm like, one, she vocalized and we both vocalized our sex was incredible. So it's not about whether the sex was good or not. It was just literally back to the situation. Did she like everything we're doing, but has now become disinterested in it?
Yeah.
Is she self-sabotaging before she ends up liking it? We don't fucking know.
But you gotta get that.
But I had to get the answer. So the answer that she said to me was, until whatever that is, where I want to be together, I'd like us to be platonic, which to me is now disinterest. Correct? At least that's how I can take it. And that was enough for me to
back out.
To back out and kill it. And gave me my own like sanity.
I get it. Yo, I get that.
I have no problem with someone saying I don't like you. Not they don't like you, but I have no problem, even if that was the word. Even if the person said, I just don't like you like that. Yo.
Cool. It lets me know
let
where
me go. Just release me. Like,
yo, because
just release me.
Oh my God,
please,
bro.
just let me.
We have talked about this so many times. Just like the fact that
I can take it, bro. I can take it. Trust me, I can take it.
Yes, we can take it. We're grown enough that you can take it. But it's like,
and actually, I'd rather take it because I want to go out there.
Yeah, because I want to get out. That's what it is. Like, as a guy, if we'll make it pretty clear, like if we like you, you'll know soon enough. And the problem is, and I've said this before, when we like you, we do all these things, not like extravagant things. I'm just talking about like little actions to let you know that we like you. And we're trying to determine if the feeling is reciprocated. Right. So really everything is on the woman's timeline. It's like
everything, sex, everything.
It's like, cool. Like, I know for guys like us anyways, especially me, it's like, it's going to be on their timeline. And if I can't determine where you're at, I'm basically in the fucking shadow realm, bro. Like, I'm
literally waiting on you.
I'm like waiting, trying to understand, like, all right, like, I think she feels this way. I don't know if she feels this way. So it's not necessarily a problem, but
it's a circumstance.
It's a circumstance. When you're in that situation and then it's like, is it self-sabotage or disinterest? And then you have the conversation and the person tells you it's self-sabotage. The problem, what makes that difficult is, you know that the person still likes you.
Right.
That's what makes it difficult, right? Like,
I know you like me.
It's like, that's what makes it difficult. So either way, when you find that out, literally there's a part of you inside that just goes, oh, this is trash. Like,
what the fuck?
Like, this is like,
what do I do with this?
You know what it is? You know what it is? It's your fucking brain. Your brain tells you, like, the person says to you, I'm like self-sabotaging for whatever reason. And you're like, fuck, I know what it is that I have to do. And I don't want to do it at all.
I don't want to do what I need to do.
what I apparently need to do is back out of this situation in that realm.
Yes.
Because it could go somewhere eventually. We don't know when.
But at least at that situation, you cannot just wait it out.
You know what it is? It's almost like a minuscule breakup? Because it hasn't happened yet. It hasn't happened.
Interesting.
It hasn't happened. Like there's no relationship there. But the reason I call it a mini breakup is
interesting
because like you both know
this is done.
This is supposed to go somewhere, but we're choosing not to. So now we both have to just go. All right.
You basically broke up with the idea.
Kind of.
You literally broke up with the idea.
Yeah.
You both were living in the idea for a time being. You were living in the idea. This could be great. Let's just keep doing this. And one of the two parties got to a roadblock and you broke up with that. Like whether that person wanted you to or not, you did it, which means even if they were sabotaging or not, they still didn't want to break up with the idea, that's the fucked up part.
But that's what I'm saying. Like it's not done. And the thing is, it's never over. You get what I'm saying? Like
it depends.
It depends.
It really
depends on the situation, the people involved.
I would say my situation's over.
Okay, no, I get that, but that was like more clear cut.
Oh, you're saying when it's up in the air too much. When
there's too many variables, it might not ever be over. But in that moment, you're like, why does this feel
like a breakup?
Like if you having that sort of feeling, you're like, okay, like it. All that does is just make you confirm that there's actual feelings there.
Yes,
and you're like, why do I? Oh,
the fact that's so real, and you know why that's real? You know why that's real? Because
why?
Part of it did feel like a breakup when I killed it. Because there was like attitude that came from it, not from me. Like I was literally just like, okay, cool. Like, you know what? Thank you for answering. Like, appreciate blah, blah. Like, we should just stop this thing. And that conversation quickly turned into like, all right, whatever. Like, and I was like, what? Like,
was this in person or
FaceTime?
Okay.
And but it quickly became like, all right, yeah, whatever. That's what you want to do. I'm like, if I want to, like, I'm
not making this decision.
But I am like.
Like you obviously play a role in it, but you're not the one that dictates the terms.
But I started to feel like this was me. Like, do you know how fucking weird that is? Like, I'm making this decision based on your behavior, but I'm leaving this conversation feeling like I did this,
bro.
Like, I was so mind fucked, and like she almost started crying on the phone, and I'm like, what? Why are you? Like, I literally started to be like, what's going on here? Like,
dude,
that's literally the breakup feeling you're talking about, because I'm like, why is she sad about me doing something that's relieving this situation? Like, I thought I was saving this, but now it seems like I made something that was confusing worse by clearing it up. Huh?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I was so mind fucked, bro. I let that conversation just like, I don't.
Dude, I hate this shit.
Yo.
Like, I really do. I really hate it because.
Is it crack? Like, bro.
I genuinely hate it because it's my ego talking. That's what it is. I can admit that.
Of course.
Like,
yeah.
What I hate about the situations like this is both parties know
what it is.
They both know deep down. And then you make this adult, mature decision, which is probably for the best. But you still internally go, what the fuck? Like, yeah. You're like, I'm making an adult decision here that is probably very mature and the right thing to do, but I hate it. Like, I know that I should not be doing this decision.
No, you feel like you shouldn't be doing it. You don't know like you should. You know you should be doing it, but I feel like I shouldn't.
I feel like I shouldn't.
Right.
And you're just like, wow, like this is what being an adult is like. And you're just like, what the fuck?
Yes,
this is whack.
Yes, it is.
It's so trash.
Letting go of things you like, love, adore for the things that you need. That is literally adulthood. We're going to like a bunch of shit in this life, bro. Like a bunch of women, like a bunch of foods, like a bunch of places. You can't have it all. You just can't.
What if mans don't have it all the time? That's what I'm saying. Like, what if you don't actually, like, look, this situation that we're talking about, like I've been through it, right? I've been through it and I understand like how fucking weird it can be. Because you said some things that I've never heard anyone else vocalize, right? Specifically
earlier?
Yeah, like the distracted piece.
Yes.
Like when you actually don't know where either party's minds are at regarding a situation, you're actually distracted. Like you find yourself distracted at times.
I can't do work.
And it's not even,
I'm being real.
Yeah. And it's not even like a obsessive distraction. It's literally like
a yearn for clarity. Like just literally
that's it.
Bro, I actually, before that situation cleared up completely, when I tried to work on stuff, I was just stuck.
Consumed. You're thinking about it.
Just stuck in this. Like I'm like, we're not even on the phone. It's just me on my own.
Dog. And the only the only reason that consumption is there is because you actually like the person.
Yes.
If I didn't like you like that,
work on your shit. That's it.
I wouldn't be thinking about it.
No.
But it's like, because I like you so much, I'm fucking consumed by this thought. But now that I have an answer, it actually allows me to fucking move. even if I don't like the answer,
it doesn't matter.
I can just move.
I don't care. The thing I generally didn't care about, like, don't lie. Not gonna lie. I did care about the answer, but I mean, I generally.
You weren't going to get hung up on.
I wasn't concerned about the answer.
Exactly.
Obviously, there's a more favorable answer I could have wanted.
Yeah.
But I wasn't. I just need an answer to let me loose, please. Like I have things I want to do, and this is fucking me up. Like there's things that have to get done, and this situation is fucking me up. Let me go.
Let me be.
Either take me or let me go. But I can't be in limbo. That rhymed. That was really good.
Yeah.
But seriously.
That limbo stage is scary. You don't want to be there.
Get me out.
No one wants to be there.
Get me out.
No one wants to be. And you hate. Look, like you said, like I think you and I don't have a problem, prompting that conversation. But even still, that's not a fun thing to do.
Of course not.
Because you're thinking to yourself, yo, if I prompt this,
make this weird.
Am I going to make this weird?
Yes.
If this person,
and you will make it weird.
It
does get weird.
If this person is disinterested I prompt this conversation,
I made it weird.
Now I just pissed them off. You know what I mean? Now I just made them angry.
I made it weird.
I made it weird. If they're self-sabotaging and I bring it up, like they're either thankful because now you see them and you can talk about it, or you definitely made them feel
weird.
You made them weird. They're just like, fuck, this guy sees me.
He sees me. Now it's weird again.
Can I ask you, have you ever been
doer?
No. I think I've
never been the doer to make things fuck up.
Have you ever been the person self-sabotaging?
No.
I don't think I ever have.
No.
Right? Like, I don't think I actually
I've always been I've always done the breakups in my relationships.
Mm-hmm.
I've always done the ends in my talking stages. Like with it, I've always been the person, the fucking Grim Reaper. Always. It's always me that's like, at this point, whether it's a result of myself, my own actions and feelings, or a result of something they're doing.
Yeah.
I'm always one that acknowledges the situation's going a certain way. Either they're acting up, or I'm acting up. But I'm always the person that's like, yo, this is going on. What would you like us to do? It's either we stop or we not. But I'm always the one that starts that conversation, because most people don't want to. They complain about their friends and their family, but they rarely bring it to the person like, yo, we're in a weird place. What's going on? I'm always the person to do that. So like, I never sabotage because I'm always the one aware of what's going on. And I'm like, I don't like this feeling. Let's find a direction. It's either we break up or we fix this, but I'm not going to keep doing this thing, trying to mess you, to make you break up with me. Like, I know you never will. And maybe that's an ego thing, but it's also an experience thing. Like, I know there's nothing I can do unless I start being disrespectful and like really hurting the person. Yeah. That any girl would leave me, because it's never happened. And it's just how I felt. Right. So it's like, I know if something's fucked up and things are not good, for this to end, you have to do it, Ryan. Like I know that now. Girls will go through whatever. They'll complain, will argue time and time and time, a million arguments. for this to end, you need to do it, Ryan, or you'll just keep doing this because they are not going to end it.
Yeah.
And that's just my experience. I'm not saying no woman ever will end it, but that's just been my experience that I need to be the person to do that.
I hate this. I hate it because, what it really comes down to is the fact that, we're all like egotistical beings, men more so. And the problem is you don't like it when someone else has like control over your mood.
Of course not.
And emotions. Like no one does. Like no one at all.
Especially when they don't even know they're doing it. Like it's in the privacy of my own home. I'm stressing.
So and it's like that's why you want to have these conversations, just to provide peace of mind to everyone involved, but more importantly, you.
Yeah.
It's more you're like, all right, like let me figure this shit out.
Yeah.
It is a really interesting conversation though. Like the difference between self-sabotaging and disinterest, and whether or not they're different or if they're actually the same. And I do think they present themselves the same way a lot of times. I said at the beginning, I don't think they're mutually exclusive at all. They're interchangeable, like people do it all the time. I don't know. I think a lot of it just boils down to like actually having the uncomfortable conversations. Like they're uncomfortable in the moment.
You feel better after.
You always feel better afterwards.
Every time.
Like every time you always feel better
At least long term. Maybe not immediately after you feel better, but long-term effects and results is always better. If you go through the fire once.
Bruh.
Oh man. Actually leads to our question. What is a word?
So what's a word or words people have described you as that you don't believe is true? Do you know why they may view you that way? And then let's read some of the responses. Orban said cold, but I'm actually just observing. I know Orban, so that makes sense. Ambitious cadet. He said intimidating. I still have no idea why. And he says me too. That's interesting. I feel like when women get called intimidating, it's like code for something else.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like, if a woman's being called intimidating,
it's more like they're saying they're a bitch.
Pretty much.
They're scary or they're mean.
And it's like
they're intimidating because they feel threatened
by her.
Not because they're not intimidating because they're so successful. Because that's usually the man's intimidation.
Exactly.
A woman's like, I'm intimidated by everything he's done. Like, whoa, which is something I've gotten personally. But not always, but when a man goes, that woman's intimidating, it's kind of like she's rude to you. Like if you say anything, she'll snap on you. Like it's usually like, that type of narrative where they feel like they're scared to cross them or something.
It's so weird, like the double standards, right?
Strange.
Shahid. He said mysterious. Can't accept this as a correct description. People only hear what they want to hear. Finance for the culture. Shay. She says standoffish because I'm not buddy.
People call him mysterious?
That's what he said. I'm like, what? Shay. She says standoffish because I'm not buddy with everyone as soon as I meet them. Sid. She said intimidating and bitchy. If I don't know you, my guard is up. So shrug. Plus just experience with humans. Okay. Interesting. Lexi. My friends call me an old soul. I didn't understand until she expressed that even though I'm young, I have the mentality of an older person that sees everything from different perspectives with the love for old school music more than new school. Then my other friends say I'm so wise that any problem they have, they come to me to give them clarity on the situation, even when I'm not in their drama. Both friends and family say I'm wiser than my two older brothers. Guess that's what happens when I'm raised around adults all my life, which I'm glad I was. Interesting observation. Davina, unfeeling, because I think too much emotions in serious situations is weird as fuck. And then Nick said smart. Interesting.
I have a list of things I've been called.
Let's hear them.
I've been called cold. I've been called heartless. Narcissist. arrogant, cocky, intimidating, probably the most common one. Mean.
Okay.
Yeah, like all very negative stuff.
Why do you think people call you a narcissist?
I honestly don't know about that one. I've heard that one recently, and not from people I know socially. That happened during like all the fucking...
I saw that during the Clubhouse
Twitter,
shit.
Yeah, all that Twitter stuff. People were like, oh, he's a narcissist. I'm like, what? Like, I actually don't know about that one.
Do you ever look up the definition of narcissist?
I have, but like, let's read it again.
Okay, let's read it.
I honestly, I don't know about that one. The other ones I can kind of define. Like, I actually like narcissistic personality disorder. One of several types of personality disorders is a mental condition in which people have an inflated sense of their own importance, a deep need for excessive attention and admiration, troubled relationships, and the lack of empathy for others. That's the personality disorder they're saying I have. Okay. So,
okay.
Okay. The narcissist one I don't understand. The cold and heartless, I understand based on who they came from. So those terms came from someone who was very sensitive.
Okay.
And because they were so sensitive and I am not such a sensitive person, it was very hard for me to empathize with how they viewed things the way they wanted me to. So every time they bring a situation that was really deeply important to them or a big deal to them, to me, it was not and never was. So in their mind, I can only assume that the things that they cared about, I didn't care about, made me just cold and heartless. Like, you don't care about anything, which is not true. It's just the things that you think are very important, I don't. So to them, in their mind, they're like, everything I bring this guy doesn't care about. He's cold. He has no heart. Anything I bring to him, but the things they're bringing are just sensitive to them. I care about things, just our sensitivity is different. You know, the rude and mean, intimidating, that kind of stuff. I think that just comes from my personality.
How so? Like, explain.
Like, I mean, I have no filter on here. Period.
Yeah. Sometimes
it could be perceived as being mean when I'm just being honest. Literally, just I am not someone to sugarcoat anything. I'm not someone to be like, because
you're definitely not one to sugarcoat.
Like, and that's just, I'm literally that way. The people who say like, yeah, like I'm always honest. Like, people say that, but I actually am that way. I actually live that way all the time. Right? I don't know how to be anything else without being myself. Yeah. So I understand how that could be perceived to someone as like, he's mean, and maybe mean to them because I'm saying things that in their opinion, no one should say. The things he's saying are mean because no one, at least around in their circle, would ever say something like that. Yeah. So for him to say that, like, this guy is mean, he's rude, he's harsh. That's another one, harsh, I've heard. But I think it's all based on someone's environment. If they're around people who are always fluffing things for them, always, courteous of how someone's gonna feel about something, like always like sugarcoating things, and then they meet me, it's like, who the fuck is this? What? Yeah. You don't like my shirt? No. What? You're not gonna lie to me? No, I'm not. Like, that can be perceived as mean to certain people. Yeah, and then the intimidating one, I think it literally gets from just mostly from strangers that meet me at this stage of my life, like, have heard about me or seen my stuff or heard the name MR.KOA. Like, they're intimidated of what they know of me, not of necessarily me as a person once they meet me. I think every single person that I think has said that when they meet me, they're like, they'll tell me about, yo, I was intimidated of you before I met you, but now that I met you, like, I get it.
The intimidating, I don't know. Not just specific to you, but intimidating in general is such a weird emotion to me, because I don't actually think I've ever been intimidated by anything or anyone.
Not even like a fight or something? Like a bigger guy or whatever?
Never. Like, I just recognize the situation for what it is. Right. Like, if back when we were playing football in high school, like, you'd face teams where they had fucking monsters. It didn't make me feel intimidated. I was just like, oh, we might get fucked today.
Yeah.
Like
you're aware of the ramifications.
Yeah, I'm just like, it is what it is.
I'm aware what could happen.
I'm aware what could happen, but I just don't like.
I think people that are intimidated are scared of the potential of what could happen.
Yeah. And I think that's why I don't feel that.
I don't think you care about the potential. Like,
yeah, I'm just like, okay.
I'm aware this exists. Like,
yeah, it's a possibility.
I may
Let's
lose.
keep it moving. Like,
I may lose, but I'm gonna go. I'm still gonna go.
Yeah. The narcissist one is really interesting because I was remember when all that bullshit went down, right? Like, I was in the rooms, right? And
I wasn't, by the way.
Yeah, we've talked about it. Like, men's were trying to cancel me because I do the podcast with you,
right? And
we were doing it for 4 years. And I remember some people were trying to say, people were saying that you were a narcissist. And I was like, they brought up the fucking, I'm not even gonna say her name, but they brought up that screenshot situation.
Yeah, with Twitter and all that.
And I was just like, okay, that particular situation, I don't see it at all.
At all.
Because you clearly wrote in the caption, this is in no way an attack on you.
This is just a discussion topic.
It's just a discussion.
Because it's an important situation that a lot of artists deal with.
Yeah.
Period.
I think the reason like people will say that you're a narcissist is because you're just very, I don't know if outgoing is the word I would use. You are an outgoing person. You're very social. But like the same way that you have no filter with your words, I don't think you have like no filter with like your presence.
That's interesting. What do you mean by that? That's so interesting.
Like you said, you're a no filter person.
Right.
So by nature, it's not just in conversations that you have, it's your
just
little
as a being.
And like that can make some people intimidated. You know, I don't see it. Like that's hard for me to see.
You can understand it.
I can understand it, but I can see why people would link that to being a narcissist. Because you're just a no filter person in general.
So they view that as me having an inflated perception of myself.
Yes.
Because I don't care about what you think.
Because you don't care what you think anyone else thinks. And like you're just, yeah, like I think that's the way they would look at it.
Right. He only cares about himself.
Well, that's what
isn't true, but
yeah,
perceived.
Yeah.
Interesting. I get it. I mean, I don't agree with it, but I get it. What about you? What are some words that you've heard from women or men?
Nonchalant, for
emotional.
Sure.
Have you heard that one?
Oh, all the time. Sensitive, emotional.
Okay.
Sensitive, emotional, nonchalant, which is like almost an oxymoron. Those two don't make sense together. Fuck, I don't know. Like, it's really the emotional stuff I've heard my entire life. Like, people that know me in my circle, they're like, oh, he's emotional. Or he's like sensitive, which I think is true. Like, I don't think I'm
overly.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not overly sensitive.
Like the way they're saying it, like, oh, you're so sensitive. Like I'm not.
Yeah, like I'm not overly sensitive or over emotional. If I was, then I'd be concerned. But I'm definitely those things, and I think at times they can be. Sometimes I definitely do think they can be a problem. You know, like I think, for example, like in the situations that we were talking about earlier, this whole disinterest versus self-sabotage thing. Like sometimes I wonder if I wasn't as sensitive as I was,
would you care?
Would I even care? Like, would these things bother me? Because they're not even in a actual situation yet.
So I can answer that from someone who's not.
Okay.
Yes, it still would.
Okay.
Because I'm not, I'm not that. Yeah. Right. I mean, our whole podcast as a dynamic is always been like Ryan's this guy and Zora is this guy, like, and people have their favorites based on. Sometimes you want to hear Ryan's perspective, sometimes you want to hear Z's perspective, sometimes you don't want to hear my perspective, sometimes you don't want to hear Z's perspective. Like, our podcast has been built on the polar. Opposite, we have our. I mean, we're not polar, but like we have our similarities, of course. But it's been built on the fact that you have a different perspective than I have in many situations, and vice versa.
Yeah.
But if we had to choose, who's more emotional on the emotional scale, like it would be you versus me. However, those scenarios, even the fact that I can be like, oh, I don't care what people think, I don't care about this, blah, blah, blah. Once you like someone, all that shit's out the fucking window. All that fucking I don't care shit, it's all like it doesn't apply to those scenarios.
It's gone.
It does it like when it comes to some random girl or someone messaging me or someone not texting me back. Oh, all that easy, brush on my shoulder, like whatever. But as soon as you insert the variable of love or affection or romance into someone who doesn't care as a general person, it literally overrides everything. I think the best example could be like, I made a joke about it. Young Jeezy just got married.
Who?
Young Jeezy.
Okay.
Jeezy. He doesn't go by Young anymore, but Jeezy just got married, right? I saw his wedding photos. You see the wedding photos?
No, not yet.
He has wedding photos looking the happiest I've ever seen Jeezy look in my life.
Yeah.
Like anyone that's grew up with Young Jeezy and Snowman, all that shit, you've seen hood Jeezy.
Yeah, he's never looked this happy.
You've seen young hood nigga Jeezy. Like, so there's a thing about love that literally supersedes everything. Yeah. Because I made a joke about it. I'm like, yo, I've never seen this guy so happy. And I know at the flip of a dime, he could turn into a hood man quick. Yeah. But for her, he will be this. A woman can tame any man. Any man. The fucking hardest of the hardest, the murderers, the killers, all those guys in jail have that one woman that if she's like, chill out. He's like, all right. Like, yeah. Am I lying?
No, you're not.
Niggas that will kill people. If they have a baby moms and she's like, yo, can you chill, yo? Like, his boys can tell him, his mom can tell him, anyone can tell him. He'll be like, fuck all you guys. If the baby mom or the mom is kid, like his wifey is like, yo, can you just chill? And that's the girl he likes. He's killing it. He's done with it. And it's like, it just shows it's like, it has nothing to do with your personality type, your mood, your emotions. If you are in love or in lust or in like, it supersedes whatever personality type you are. Like, I'm someone who doesn't really care about certain things and very nonchalant, like you said, about certain things. And I don't really show emotion in most cases. But if a girl I like is confusing me, I'm hooked on it. Is that I don't get to choose. I don't care about that.
That's true. Like, yeah, you don't get to choose.
You don't.
Okay. So yeah, it would probably be those two for sure. Emotional, sensitive.
Anything you've heard that's like way off? Like someone called you that you're like, what? You're like, okay. Like, maybe out of anger. It usually comes out of anger. All the names I get is out of anger.
Nothing like, so in all my arguments I ever had, like, I've never been called anything that I was just like, what the fuck? Like, what are you talking about? I dated one girl. I'm not going to say her name, but she called me a sociopath in the middle of an argument. And I was like, I don't even think you know the definition.
Like what that means.
Because that is not me for sure. I'm like, I think you described yourself in this case.
Like, you described yourself.
You described yourself. Because like, I'm like, if people knew, I was like, hey, you might be the sociopath here. I'm trying to think what else.
You said back to her. I think you're describing yourself.
You know what though? Okay. Since being single, I've had girls call me out and say that I'm they assume, like, they'll come out and assume that I'm like a player.
Okay.
Right? And
they'll say the word player?
Or things along those lines, right? Okay. And it's not even because it's not as a result of doing anything with these women. I think it's because of the perception. They're like, oh, Z's single now, like, he has his own place,
lighting up his room,
lighting up the place, whatever.
Stretching naked.
I don't stretch naked. Stop pushing this narrative.
Barefoot.
Stop pushing this narrative, bro. But all these things, so they'll say these, and I'm just like, in my head, I'm thinking, nah, that's not the case. Like, I'm, like I do okay, but it's not like
I do okay.
It's not like I do okay, but it's not like
I do okay.
It's not like
crazy. I do okay.
Yeah, I do okay.
I do okay is a verbiage from a player.
Is it? Is it
I
though?
do okay. What does that mean, Zamora? Please define that for me.
It means that that if I need to do something, it'll get handled.
This is player talk.
Is it? I don't know.
It'll get handled.
I don't know.
Listen to how you keep rephrasing things. If I need to do something, it'll get handled.
Yeah, if I
do okay, referring to women.
I didn't mention women at all.
What are you talking about here?
When I mention women.
This is player verbiage. So can you understand why certain people would believe said thing, whether it's true or false?
Yeah, absolutely. But here's the thing. They're not saying these things based on like my experiences with them or them hearing it from other people. It's literally
just what you look like to them.
Yes. It's what I look like to them. It's all these things. They're like, oh, he's cute. He's got his own place. He's single. He works out. Like it's all these things. He's definitely
a player.
He's definitely a player. I hate when
it's definitely.
And I'm like, okay.
I hate when it's always definitely this.
I'm like, all right.
It's like, definitely this.
I just do okay out here. You know?
What do you consider? Yeah. What would you consider a player? In your humble definition.
My humble definition.
What would you define as a player since it's not you?
Well, here's the thing. No. Here's the reason why I actually don't think I'm a player. Okay. Because I think I was about to say, I think the difference between me and a player, I think a player will genuinely not, I think they will not make their intentions very clear.
That's not always true. No, there's players that people know. There are well-known players we were like, you know what it is.
No. What I mean is,
what do you mean?
They go into every single situation and it's like, it's more so about making sure their priorities are handled first.
Like end game.
Yes. Like when I say priorities, I'm talking about like sex and all those things. Their priorities are handled first. And the other person's like a distant second. They could care less. It's just, can I smash you and keep it moving?
Okay.
Right? I'm more interested.
They are result focused.
They care more about smashing. Like it's almost even down to the language that they use, right? Like for example, like I genuinely look, as men, we've all talked about, you know, people who've been in relationships with, people we're talking to, all that type of stuff. I can honestly say this, especially because I've been in relationships for like the last fucking 8 years. I've never said, oh, I fucked this girl. What I usually say is like, we hooked up, or like, and you
like the term,
but you understand like
the wording of the
difference
term
and how that sounds, right? Like, I'm never looking at it like my goal is to smack. Like that's my. It's not my end. Obviously, I want to sleep with you.
Right? Why is that obvious?
No, I'm talking about like scenarios. Like, okay. Obviously, I want to sleep with you. Sure. But it's not like I'm approaching it like I need to fuck you. You know what I mean? It's
yeah. I'm like to conquer.
Yeah, I'm never looking at it that way. It's almost like if someone asks like, "Oh, what you and so and so doing?" I'm like, "Oh, we've been hooking up." So it's not I'm fucking her. Like we've been hooking up. So players that I know, it's more conquering. That's
so honesty hour for both of us.
Like I like this guy to just inserted honesty hour here, but okay. Like I have no choice now. But go on.
Honesty hour. Have you ever, since you're claiming, as of now, 29-year-old Z no longer, have you ever been in it to conquer?
No, dude. The last 8 years of my life, I've been in relationships.
I mean,
have I ever been into No, I've never been in it to be like I need to. But I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say I've never been like I want to sleep with this girl so bad.
Okay,
but it's not.
So what does that mean?
But the difference is I can always say I've never been able to pursue it because I've always been in relationships. So now it's the first time in my life where I'm like, okay,
so it's the first time in your life where you can, and you're saying you're still not doing it to conquer.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't have that like desire where I'm like I need to like sleep with this girl just so I can say that I slept with her.
I mean, well, who you can say it to?
Sure, guys. But what I'm saying is like, I don't have that feeling. I actually haven't had that feeling. It might be because I've always been a relationship man, where I'm like,
I mean, without getting too much detail, are the people that you would sleep with while single?
They're generally people that I'm like actually really cool with. Like I would hang out. I would hang out with even if we don't have sex.
So every person that you would sleep with currently,
yeah.
sorry, every person that you would sleep with currently is someone
that I could hang out with.
Also do hang out with.
Could, because I'm not. Sure, let's just say do.
Well, because like, are you saying could, like,
let's just say do. Let's just.
Are you saying could, like, for example, like, okay, I slept with this girl, we've never chilled before, but I could? Is that what you're saying? Or are you saying I slept with this girl and I also do chill with this person?
Yeah, I would say it's both. Like I could, yeah, I could literally both those situations have, yeah.
Okay. So I
just think the player bit is more like, it leans more into the conquer side of things.
Okay, and maybe in Ottawa, I was that guy.
Yeah, but you were also, but you have to remember how, like, dude, you're fucking university.
But I'm saying is that actually, like, if you're wording it that way, it was literally me on the basketball team in University of Ottawa, just sleeping with whoever the fuck I want to sleep with.
Yeah, but it's a scenario. It's like scenario situations though. Yeah. Like it's almost actually like harder to not do that if you're an athlete in that situation. If we're being completely honest, like I know people want to hear that, but it's the truth. Like
it's true.
It really is. You know,
I think now at this stage of my life, you're definitely right in terms of like timing and circumstance. Like me sleeping with girls now, there is no like, yes, I got her. What? Like, dude, it's literally just like, if this happens, it does. If it doesn't,
it's exhausting.
I'm perfectly fine if this doesn't happen. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh,
it's exhausting.
Didn't get to slap. Like,
it's exhausting. Like it's actually exhausting trying to like sleep with multiple people, like multiple women, because you just want to do it. Right. Like it's. After a while, you're just like, yo, this can't be fun. Like it can't be fun because like,
unless it's thrown at you.
Yeah,
like, but you're talking about like literally attempting to do it.
Yeah, you're
versus like, women just throwing it at you. Those are very different scenarios.
You're not okay because we all know about this conquer mentality. Mm-hmm. You're not conquering anything if it's being thrown at you. You're
just receiving it.
If it's coming to you, you're not conquering anything. Yeah. If anything, the woman's conquering you. Right? That's exactly what's happening.
It's true.
But if I'm going out of my way, if I'm actively trying to like hook up with Sally and then hook up with Christy, like all these people, that's me going out of the way. I'm trying to do the conquer.
Yeah.
Right. And after a while, like especially as you get older, like look, some guys, that's their thing, whatever. I'm not gonna judge them. It's just after a while it gets tired. It gets tiring.
Chasing ass. Like every day.
For what? Don't you have a job? Don't you have shit to do?
Every day chasing ass.
You know? Man, it's nuts. And I think like we went all over the place because like
we did, but
the beginning of the podcast talking about self-sabotage, disinterest. Then we're talking about like perceptions of people. And like I said this the other day to my best friends, and it's just like, you know, as you get older in life, it's not like we're really out here trying to make new friends or like trying to insert new relationships into our lives just for the sake of it, right? And the way I look at it is, imagine there's a table, right? You're not sitting at the table. The table is you, right? And there's only so many seats allowed at this table. So you have to be like really picky and choosy with who you're going to allow to sit there. And every now and then, someone comes along with their own seat.
Just pulls it up to the table.
They pull up. And like at that point, it's up to you to be like, yeah, you can stay actually. And sometimes you'll be like, nah, you got to kick rocks.
Take a corner of the table.
Yeah, you can take the corner. Right? And this is the thing with the whole table analogy. Like, there's a certain like set of fucking rules and expectations that you hope everyone who's sitting at your table will abide by. The problem is the table now has its own set of rules. They're not like the expectations that you hold yourself accountable to. Because I know at the end of the day, like the expectations that I have for myself, I know that some people can't match. And I used to get really upset at some people because I'm like, yo, like I would do this in this situation, but it's like, you can't.
Yeah, no.
You know what it is? So
different limitations.
You grow out of that. So then you say, all right, you're at my table now. There's only so many limited seats. I'm not going to hold you to my level that I hold myself at, but I'm going to hold you up maybe like to yours.
To your max.
Because I need to figure it out, right? You might have someone at that table who fucking, they're the friend you only like to hang out with to just go get lit. Do shit like that. And you understand what the expectations are. Then you have those other friends where you're like, it could be friends or family, where you say, all right, like when I need to talk about some real shit, like you need to like be at this level. And it's the same fucking thing with relationships, bro. I don't know if it's a side table or it's the same one, but the reality is it's like
side table.
I don't know if a relationship is a whole other one. Kitty table. I don't know what it is, but I'm just, dude, like every year that I get older and think about relationships and think about meeting people and all this bullshit, I'm like, bro, I don't think I'm at a point yet where I'm saying the next one needs to be the last one. I don't think I'm at that point because, and I don't know if I'll ever necessarily have that switch flip before going into a relationship. I think I'd have that switch flip when I'm in the relationship where I'm like, okay, nah, this has got to be the last one because I feel a certain type of way about this person. I don't want to put unnecessary pressure on myself or whichever woman by saying, hey, the next one needs to be the last one.
It's funny. I'm going to expose myself right now. Not in a bad way, but it's relevant to what we're talking about right now with like friendships and all that. So I was talking to somebody today.
Yeah.
And yes, there are shots that Mr. KOA takes that misses, by the way, guys. Like, yeah, people, I do miss shots. I don't take a lot, but I do miss shots. So this is a shot. This is an example of a shot I missed today. Okay. And literally lines up with what you're talking about. Okay. With not really wanting new friends.
Yeah.
Right. So I messaged this girl and I asked her basically if she wanted to FaceTime sometime this week so we can get to know each other a little bit. Right. Okay. We've been following each other for a while, like each other's pictures back and forth. Nothing really came from it. So I was like, yo, what's good, yo? If you're single and obviously interested, I'd like to FaceTime you sometime this week. Curious to know what you're about. She goes, hey, good morning. I am single, but definitely not looking for anything right now. Just got out of something. Honestly, I think it's time I put myself first. If we're being transparent, I go, all right, so three things. Good morning back to you. Second thing, I'm not looking either, nor should you be. And third thing, I know I'm curious about you and attracted to you. So number 3 would be keep being transparent because I will also be, right? No pressure. There's no pressure at all. She goes, thank you. Appreciate that. She goes, well, I don't think I'm interested fully, but I would definitely be down to get to know you as friends. That's what she said, right? So I go,
Ryan doesn't like friends, guys.
But this is my shot missed, right? Of course. Yeah. This is what it is. So then I go, and she's like extra, like definitely be friends though. Like, cause she's been liking she likes what I do and what I've been like, it's not just like a random person, right? Yeah. So she's not just saying we should be friends. Just, I met you on the street. It's like, yeah, I've been seeing what you've been up to. So like, yeah, I'd definitely be down to be a friend, but not interested like that. Right. So I go, that's perfectly fine that you're not interested. I mean, realistically, I don't think either of us need more friends per se at this age, but I'm glad I know where you stand. So I don't need to be curious anymore. Right. She goes, laugh my ass off. What's wrong with having more friends? I go, come on now, this person's name. Yeah. LOL. I'm like, well, I won't speak for you, but I personally don't require more friends. She goes, LOL. I'm asking why. What's wrong with having more friends? So I go, absolutely nothing is wrong. I never said wrong at all. I never actually said there's anything wrong with friends. Did I say that?
No, you didn't.
No. I'm like, absolutely nothing is wrong. I never said wrong at all. My circle is very small as it is. And I'm attracted to you, so I'm not going to pretend like being your friend will be the end goal. I'm very honest with myself and others all the time. She goes, LOL. you're making it sound like it's bad. I'm like, no, not at all. I'm like, texting context is hard to tell tone, right? She goes, LOL again. She keeps using LOL. I'm assuming because she's uncomfortable, or
it's definitely a uncomfortability part of it.
But the thing is, you already rejected me, so I'm kind of curious why this conversation kept going.
Well, it's because she's trying to genuinely understand like why someone cannot want more friends, right? Like,
I guess.
Look, I just like,
but you would like. I'm just not that she couldn't keep talking, but it's like I said something, you appreciated it, you rejected the play. I said no problem, cool, and now it's like, well, why can't we still be like?
Yeah,
wait, what's happening here? Like, I
mean, I reached out to you on some other type of energy, and you want me to take the constellation prize.
And the thing is, you know what? Only thing I can think is that there are a lot of guys that take that route.
Yeah, they take that route because
trying to hope for more, right?
But you were honest by saying like,
I'm not going to pretend like that's the end goal. It's not. So I said that straight. This is literally how I talk. You know, like I'm literally like that. So she goes, LOL, since your circle's so small, you would prefer, so since your circle is so small, you wouldn't prefer to add to it? What if the new friendship will help you discover something, whatever that may be? Why be so quick to shut it down? I go, that would make sense if I didn't say the last statement I said, which is, I'm not going to pretend like being your friend is the end goal. If I didn't say that, then yeah, you can miss out on opportunities, blah, blah. All that would make sense. But that's, if I didn't say that part in the line, then it wouldn't. And then she goes, you can be attracted to your friends. I'm pretty sure most of your friends are attractive. No, I'm pretty sure we don't have ugly friends. LOL. I'm like, there is a difference between having attractive friends and being attracted to them. The girls that are my friends may be attractive, but I'm not attracted to them.
Yeah. Big difference.
And she goes, fair. I'm like, that's all. I'm like, we're all good. I appreciate your honesty. She goes, sounds good. You too. And that was the end of that. But I think that exchange needs to happen more with people. Whether the shot goes in or misses. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because otherwise it leaves this like, okay, most people say, oh, I'm not looking for anything right now. Or they just say, I'm not looking for anything. You know, just got, it's a little soon. Like, it just leaves this like,
yo,
what?
I have a story, like example.
Go ahead.
Right? So years ago, and I know you always bust my balls for this.
When you're 21.
No, but when I was working at the PR firm. So I was like 23, 24.
Yeah.
One of my homegirls at the office, one of the only other people of color there, I was like, yo, come to this event. I think you might have been there. It was on college. It was like some dance hall thing.
Okay.
In a bar. And it was in the basement of this place.
Okay.
And long story short, she's like, yo, like one of my friends is going to be there that I think you should meet. Right? So I'm like, okay, bet. Go to this bar. And
no idea who she is or what she looks like.
No, I knew what she looked like.
Okay.
Because I saw the Instagram. I was like, oh, she's cute. Go to the bar, meet this girl, and everyone is drinking. We're having a good time. Me and this girl like end up making out in this fucking bar, right? Which I like never. I don't typically
drunk or sober.
No, we're both drunk.
Okay,
right. But here's the thing: like I've definitely been drinking, but I'm not drunk to the point.
You know what you're doing.
I know what I'm doing, right? And she's getting ready to leave, and I remember walking up with her, and then she gave me her number, right? I was like, okay, bet. Let's say the following week I hit her up, right? I'm like, you want to go
talk for a whole week?
I think like casually,
okay.
But like the following week,
hit her.
Yeah, but the following week is when I say like, hey, do you want to go out sometime or whatever, right? And she's like, yeah, sure. And I think this was so long. I think we did go out. We either went out and I realized afterwards the vibe was a little bit off, or we just actually didn't get around to going out at all. But either way, I remember talking to my friend from work about this, right? I'm like, yo, like, what's going on with your friend? Like, this is so weird. Like, I don't know what was going on. And it turned out that this girl was so drunk that night that she didn't even remember making out with me.
I think you did tell me.
Right?
Yeah.
So I was like, yo, like I was so embarrassed because she didn't tell me that, right?
But she did remember giving you her number.
Obviously, because we've been texting.
Okay.
Right? But here's the thing. She didn't remember that we had made out. I think like our mutual friend had like told her about this, right? So I was just like, yo, I'm so embarrassed because I'm like, yo, I'm out here asking this girl out. She doesn't have any interest in this, right? And I feel bad now. Like afterwards, I feel bad. I'm this is fucking crazy, right? And then I think our conversations just fizzled out. It was just like, we're just never going to talk about
what are we talking about now anymore?
Right?
Yeah.
I don't see this girl for like 3 years. Legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 years. Because last year was 28. I'm teaching at my gym, right? And I can always see the list of names of people coming to my class. They hand it to us so we can like yell out their names and shit. And I'm on stage and I see the girl. I see she's in my class. And I see her and I just start fucking laughing.
Like at her?
Like
to yourself, or she saw you laughing?
No. This is what happened, bro. Like she walks into the class and she's at her place in the class in like the corner. And I'm looking at the list and I see her name and I look over in her direction. Like, remember, there's a big distance between us. I look over and like I voluntarily just start laughing because I'm like, oh,
like, how?
I was just like, yo, like this is hilarious, right? And I have a mic on.
Or you laughed in the mic?
So the music is playing and I started laughing because I'm like, oh, this is a hilarious situation that I found myself in. I teach the class, everything's normal. And afterwards, her and I talk and we just...
Like she recognized you?
She recognized it. Because we follow each other on social since then.
Oh, like, still?
Yeah, like
just no speaking.
Just no speaking at all. And then we just became like friends. Like me and this, and this is from last year, like me and this girl are actually like good friends now. Like we talk about all these different things. Yeah. But the point is like, if at that time back then, I was to look at her and just say, oh, like, would you like, we could just be like friends or whatever. She'd probably be like, no, like, we're not like that. And I would have told, I wouldn't even think to ask her, let's just be friends. Cause I'd be fucking stupid.
Like, I don't know you.
Right. But like time passed and we could just remove ourselves from that situation. And now it's normal. Now we can just be, let's just be friends. And it's totally normal, but you need that time.
But you built a friendship through a natural progression.
Through a natural progression.
Rather than just like, hey, we should be friends. We're not toddlers. I'll just look at you and be like, want to be my friend?
Oh my God.
That's not, at least not me at this age.
Yeah.
I would just meet someone and be like, hey, want to be friends? Like, no. What do I want from you? Nothing.
Nothing at all.
Either I'm attracted to and want potential curious relationship with you, some type of romantic or sexual, whatever. But for me to just be like, you look like a good friend. Let's just be buddies. Like, what the fuck? I have my friends. Like, I'm good.
The whole table friend thing, it's just relative to fucking life because you don't need more unnecessary friends right now.
For what?
You know, and even with the thing about the table analogy that I said before, here's the thing. Like, you can't allow people who don't occupy a seat at your table to fucking dictate how you feel. You know what I mean?
So about what? What do you mean?
Anything. So it's like, for example, like you have your table, you got your, you know who's sitting at your table right now, right? You could probably rattle off at least 3-4 names without having to really think about it. There's people who don't have a seat at your table who will try to like fucking, I don't want to say manipulate, but sway like how you feel emotionally. Right?
Yeah.
And what I've realized getting older is like, you can't allow that to happen because they actually don't occupy any space in your life that's valuable. I know that sounds harsh, but it's the truth.
It is what it is. Yeah.
It's the truth, right? And I relate it back to what we talked about at the very beginning, trying to like determine where you stand with a person, right? In our case, a woman. And it's like, you know that when you're trying to like engage in either a relationship or see where it goes or whatever it is with a woman, it's because eventually she's going to occupy a seat at your table and it may be a big seat, right? And the problem is you can't be in a place where that person is swaying how you feel and they're not even there yet.
Right.
That's what makes it so problematic, and it relates to everything in life. Like, this isn't just relative to men and like us towards women. It goes the other way, and it's like, how many times in life have you actually sat there and been like, yo, I've let this person make me feel a type of way, but they actually don't hold that large of a space in my life
at all.
Like, at all.
Why am I even listening to you? What?
It's almost not even like, why am I listening to you? It's actually like, I need to like check myself and be like, yo, why are you letting them do this to you?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no, this is an interesting one. I think we're good here, but lots of reflecting. What we talked about today? We talked about some interesting stuff. We talked about the difference between disinterest and self-sabotage. We talked about some buzzwords about ourselves.
Yeah.
I shared a swing and a miss.
The
thing is, like, bro, and I think it's also because it's definitely because I broke 30. I think, bro, I don't know what it is. I've heard it when I was younger. Like, yo, when you hit 30, bro, when you break 30, like 29 right now, you're close. You're still gonna move different right now, but when you fully break 30, you get a level of like just calm with anything. Like, I'm just so calm. Like, I shot my shot at that girl because I was like, I keep seeing her pop up on my timeline. She keeps liking my stuff. I keep liking her stuff. You kind of like not talked, but we like replied to some each other's stories, like random stuff, but no actual conversation. And I was just like, why not? Why not? Let me see. Let me just see. Like, at the end of the day, like, you won't know unless you don't try in any scenario with life or period. Right? So I was like, I looked at her, I'm like, do you find her attractive? I'm like, yeah. Would you want to date with her? I was like, probably. I was like, say something. I was like, fuck it. So I did it, fully knowing that, like, she could say, I have a boyfriend. She could say, sorry. She could say, yeah, dope. Why didn't you ask sooner? Like, she could be anything. I literally went into that with like no like particular answer she had to say. And literally when she was like, oh, I think I'm starting to understand. I think it bothered her that I took it the way I took it. In like some weird ego way.
That you were just so like, okay. Like, yeah.
And no friends either. Like, just nothing. Like, this was, I just wanted to see something. No problem. Just nothing. Like, let's just do nothing. I think
that's what takes her back. Like, it's not so much, oh, that was like, you just said no. It's I don't want to be friends either. But it's like, I'm being honest. Why though? It's not like, it's not like you being
like you're a shit person. No,
it's not like you're saying, well, I don't want to be friends, like out of a petty way.
Exactly. Well,
I'm just not looking for more friends in my life right now.
Yes. Pure honesty.
Like, in order for me to gain new friends right now in my life, it has to happen so organically.
So organically.
I'm not like actually trying to make new friends. It's got to be organic.
Right.
And it's usually people that I've made new friends with people that
are in circles you're already in.
Yeah. I've known for a long time, but we just never like hung out, whatever. And then we do. And it's like, oh, we're actually tight.
But they're still in your atmosphere.
Yes.
Right. You're not gonna just fall from the sky and become my friend.
Yeah.
But I think it really comes down to like people's experiences. And I think I can't speak for her. I don't know her like that, right? But I can highly hypothesize that, one, she's hit on a lot by guys because she's a beautiful girl. And two, most of the guys that she probably rejects are probably salty in some way.
Yeah.
Like, she's beautiful. So a guy that's like, yo, we should go somewhere. And she's like, no, sorry. It's like, all right. Like, either super like,
yeah.
All right.
Well,
just nothing.
I have another theory.
What?
Why she may or may not have reacted that way. So once again, I'm in like a lot of group chats. Yeah. And one of them is me and then two other women.
Okay.
So it's like, I see how certain conversations play out, and they sent an Instagram post where they asked this girl like, do you go on date? Like, do you go on dates, or like, what's an ideal date to you, or something like that? And she said, I don't go on dates until I'm actually in a relationship with someone. And there's like, what do you mean? And like, she was like, basically what I do is I friend zone like everyone. I friend zone everyone from the jump. And then I'll figure out after a while, like, oh, I actually like you.
Pull you out.
Pull you out of the friend zone.
out of the fucking D League.
Yeah. D-League.
I'm going to bring you up to the NBA.
Yeah, and I saw this and
give you a 10-day.
My friend who said this, posted this, she's like, I feel seen, right? Like, she's like, I do this. And I thought she was a sicko for doing that, right? But then honestly, both of them said they do this. And then I actually took a step back and I was like, yo, I've definitely done this. I've definitely like, purposely. Just
put them in retainer for a second.
Yeah, I've definitely not to say like, I'm going to make you my friend, see where this goes.
Like on purpose.
Yeah, I've never done that. It's been like, yeah, I've definitely become friends with people who after a while, I'm like, oh, I would date you. For sure, I would date you. Right?
But you never put your mind there yet.
It was never from the jump.
Yeah,
I'm like, I'm a friend zone you and then see where it goes.
Question for you. If based on your experience, with doing that and where you are now, do you prefer, not does it have to be, but do you prefer that you know you don't want the person in there from jump rather than finding out later it's someone you put there and trying that? Like, do you just preference? Do you prefer that it's I meet? Yes. Let's fucking go somewhere. I don't know where, but let's go somewhere. Versus, hey, this is cool. You're in this thing, and then, yo, you're actually pretty dope. Like, what energy do you prefer from yourself at this age?
I think I
prefer.
And honestly,
both can work. No.
Honestly, it might even be more toxic, but I like the second one more.
Why?
Because
you have more control over it.
It's not even just I have more control. It feels to me more natural that like I can be friends with a woman and think they're attractive, but literally have no interest in dating them whatsoever. Right? Like, okay. And just leave it at that. Like, I know, yeah, most of my female friends are very attractive.
Right.
Do I want to sleep with them all? Absolutely not. Like, I would say 99% of them I don't want to, because that's the type of relationship I've built it up to. But I think if I was friends with one of my female friends and all of a sudden, like over time, I'm like, yo, like, I think this could go somewhere. I'm only feeling that way because I'm definitely getting the same feelings from said person. Dude, I'm too old to like
one side
to become friends with a woman and then just develop these feelings without thinking
that it's shared.
Right. Because that'll absolutely ruin a friendship, right? So I think for me, that's natural to me versus, you know, the only other time in my life where I got in a relationship with someone where it was like, I saw them and I was like, oh, let's date. It was like one of my most toxic relationships. Like the whole thing was based on sex. So like, from my experience, it didn't totally work out. Could I see it?
Middle scenario.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying for that angle. I meant not like, yes, I think you're sexy as fuck. I mean like where it's like first 2 weeks, you guys are just relatable. Things are dope. Yeah. Things are and just like, whoa. Not like just like I want to fuck you. Just literally like, yes, I want to date. Yeah. Yes, you're attractive, but also this is lined up. This is like, what the fuck? Do you like that feeling or the slow grind, the slow build feeling?
Okay. I have the answer now. I have the answer now.
Right.
And this proves why I'm fucking sensitive.
Right.
I would prefer that first scenario where you like within like 2-3 weeks, you're like, okay, this is dope. This is then the other way.
Okay.
Because I'm less likely to get hurt.
The first scenario.
Because
I don't know you like that.
I don't know you like that.
But if
like the feeling,
if you ruin a friendship, it fucks things up.
Exactly. Like that first scenario, it's like it's intense feelings of infatuation. It's all these things. And I'm like, yeah, like this is where we're supposed to go. Like this is what we're supposed to do. And if it doesn't work out, it's going to fucking suck, but it's not going to hurt.
You can let it go.
It's not going to hurt. Yeah, I can let it go. I could still let go the other scenario, but it would just hurt a little more.
Because they've sunk into you already.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
in other ways.
Yeah. Now the repercussions are, all right, like, okay, I can accept, we can just stay friends, whatever. But you're going to have to give me like some time to...
We can't pretend like we didn't just try this.
You know what I mean? Like, and realistically as a dude, like, you know, I'll do what I need to do for myself in order to get there emotionally. And
you're never going to not think about it again.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
sorry, you'll never forget it happened. You might not think about it anymore to pursue it, but you forever, you tried it. Like, you're not,
yeah. And it's just saying, like, these are all hypotheticals, right? Like what I would do in these situations. Like, look, I'll be honest, like, we've all thought about what it'd be like dating one of your friends, right? Like, I've had conversations with friends about that. And the idea is, you think sometimes, all right, well, we'd like to think if it didn't work out,
you just erase and go back.
We can eventually we can go back. And like, I know for a fact in cases that has happened, like, I know that's worked, but also it hasn't worked with some people. At the end of the day, I don't know what the better answer is. Do you just not try for the sake of
protection?
Like, do you not try something with a friend that's a shared feeling because you don't want to ruin the friendship? Is that any better than not trying at all and having this feeling in the back of your head all the time?
I'd say no.
Right? Like, because then the flip side is this, like, all right, we won't try because we don't want to ruin this. I respect that. I get that.
But what is this?
I'm going to go fuck around. I'm going to go fuck around, start dating other people. And I'll be honest, like, I have no ego in the sense. I know that when I do that, in the back of my head, I'm still going to be either measuring said person against you, or I'm going to be thinking like, like,
is this going to bother her? Even though it shouldn't
bother her. Or like, I have to find someone now that like literally makes me not think of you.
Yes. Which is a fucking challenge. It's a fucking challenge.
So it's like, what's the best alternative out of the two? I think it's subjective. For me, I think it's better to just fucking try. Yeah. Especially if you're older. Like, if you're older than adults, like, just fucking try it, man.
It's not for nobody.
Yeah. Like, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
And no one knows.
And you'll know pretty quickly if it's not going to work out.
And if it doesn't work out, nobody knows. Like, it's not like you're like, hey guys, gonna try dating my friend today. Like, just go do it.
You can keep it absolutely low key.
Go do it.
And if it doesn't work out,
you're just like,
this
was weird. You're like, yeah, it was. And you just kill it. But yeah, good talk, brother.
Yeah, very good talk.
Episode 100, guys. I think this is a really good episode to be number 100. I was thinking about what was 100 going to be. Like, I think this is definitely a good episode to kind of like set the tone of like next chapter. We definitely did some reflection on ourselves.
Yeah,
talked about our personality. We can actually look back on this particular episode. Year end,
100 episodes later.
Maybe not year end for 100, but yeah, 100 episodes later, we can look back at this episode and be like, has our perspective changed?
Yeah.
Right?
You're not wrong.
Maybe you end up wanting someone that, was your friend first, and you end up getting married to a girl that used to be your friend for 10 years, and you're like, yo, I remember when I was 29 and said this. I didn't want a girl like that, and now you end up dating one of your best friends. Who the fuck knows? We don't know.
Dude,
we don't know
shit. I don't know. I could
shit.
think my soulmate or whoever I'm supposed to be. Like, I'm sure I got a soulmate in fucking England right now. Like, I'm pretty sure she's in England right now, but I also think I got a soulmate that's like right fucking here in this city that I'm actively blocking because I'm like, hey, like, she can't be here. Like, probably not. She's probably your soulmate is probably someone you already fucking know.
Yes,
you already know this person. They might not be close to you right now, but you already know them.
Yep,
and the scenario,
very possible. Very possible,
man.
Very possible.
Who knows?
Until next week, guys.
Yeah.
But make sure you guys stay tuned for our monthly Kinda Lives, April 30th. Zamora and I will set that up probably close to the end of the month.
Yep.
And remind you guys. But it's been real. This is dope. I really love doing these.
Good episode.
Yeah, I think we good here.
Yeah, man. We out.
We out. Good night.
We need to talk.
We need to talk.
We need to talk. We need to talk. We need to talk.